What's up, bosses? Welcome back to my channel. So I'm sure you already know that product photography is super important for a product-based business, right? Since we own online businesses, product photography is the closest thing that our customers have to physically holding the product in their hands. So naturally, it's a pretty critical part of the decision-making process. Moreover, your photography will have a certain vibe and a certain feel. The more cohesive and the more professional that your photographs look, the higher quality your brand and your products are perceived to be. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely gotten away with making pretty good money on Etsy with subpar photography before, and that was using, I think, an iPhone 4. But along the way, I've definitely picked up some best practices to take awesome photos with a smartphone. So that's what we're gonna learn in this video today. So if you're down to learn how an amateur photographer like me takes pretty decent photos with a smartphone, then keep on watching. So the first step that I like to do is actually get inspiration. So I'll look on Pinterest and I'll look on Etsy by typing in a keyword that I want to rank for, and then taking note of shots that really stand out to me and that I like, and I'll take a look at the props they're using, the lighting, the angles, and the overall style of the shot. And if you're doing this on Pinterest, then what you can actually do is create a secret board and save all of those pins there so you can come back to that board and see your inspiration again when it comes time to actually take the photos. But once I have a good handle of what I want my style to look like and how I want my shots to be, then I take notes on the props. So do I need to go shopping on Amazon for any props, or can I just use the props around my house? And if I realize that I do need props, I will go ahead and purchase them on Amazon. Then you want to find a surface that will have a nice contrast to your product, because you don't want your product to blend into the background. So you can look around your house and see if you have a nice surface that you can use. If you don't have a nice surface that is to your liking, you can buy this fake backdrop or surface like this paper I got from Amazon, and I'll link this down below. So I went ahead and I purchased some props on Amazon, and I'm using this notebook as my subject. Now, the next step is to find the perfect place with perfect lighting. So we're looking for a place to shoot that has soft, natural light with shadows that aren't harsh. We want the scene's lighting to be very balanced throughout with minimal shadows. So I like to use my living room area where I have a huge window and sheer curtains. So I can close the curtains, and that creates a really soft, nice, natural looking light across the scene. If you don't have a window that will work for you, you can go outside and find some shade, or you can actually purchase a light box. And those are pretty inexpensive on Amazon, but I really do prefer window lighting with the blinds closed. If the shadows still look too harsh with the blinds closed, then you can maybe throw an extra sheet over the window. You can pin it up there to diffuse the light a little more. Or you can actually take your photographs early in the morning before the sun is completely up, because when the sun is completely above, like around noon, you'll get really harsh shadows. So take your photos earlier in the morning where the sun is lower in the sky, so the light is softer. Now it's time to set the scene. At this point, it's a good idea to go back to your Pinterest board and get re-inspired. And what I like to do is add props slowly into the photographs, because I want a large variety of photographs, so I have a lot to choose from at the end. And then you also want to make sure that when you're taking photos of your product, you're getting a lot of angles, and then you want some close-ups. So just make sure you're getting a variety of different types of photographs of your one product. Now, as you're shooting, you might want to take into consideration the rule of thirds. And this is a very common way that professional photographers take photos, and you're basically making sure that the subject of the photo is in 1/3 of the frame. This just creates a more visually appealing photograph, and it's a little bit more interesting. And to help you frame the shot, you can actually go into settings and you can turn on the grid. So this will help you keep your photos straight and just help you frame your shot. You can also adjust the exposure by using your finger to slide up and down on your screen, and sliding up will increase the exposure and sliding down will decrease it. You shouldn't really need to do this if you're shooting with the correct lighting, which is diffuse, soft, natural light, but you might need to use this if you're taking a photo of something black or something white. You can just adjust it yourself, but Note that it's actually better to film something underexposed, so darker, rather than overexposed, because in post, it's much easier to fix something that's underexposed. So it's easier to brighten something up more accurately than it is to make something darker. So after you take a bunch of photos with a variety of different props and you shot your product in many different angles, then it's time to choose your favorite photos. I like to favor all of my favorite photos. That way, when I go into my editing app, which we'll get to in a second, it's easier to find all the ones that I like. So now the next step is editing your photos, and you can use an app called Visco or VSCO. It's a free app that you can download, and what you can do is you can brighten up the photo, you can sharpen it, you can increase the saturation, because often when we're taking photos, the items in the photograph often look more dull and less vibrant than they do in real life, so we can adjust the saturation in this app as well. And you're just gonna wanna use your best judgment. You can go back on Etsy and check some of the listing photos of your competitors that you found inspirational. And what I notice is when I do that is I always notice that my photos are just a little bit darker than everyone else's, so I always have to brighten up my photos a decent amount. So maybe you wanna check on there, make sure that your photos are really popping so you can stand out amongst the crowd. But do be careful of overexposing in your edit, so basically blowing out the whites where they're like super bright. So, you know, you can lighten up your photos, but just make sure that it still looks really good. When you're done editing your photos, you can save them and share them to yourself via email, and make sure when you send them to yourself that you are actually selecting actual size, because you don't want the photos to be compressed at all. You want the highest quality edit of that photo sent to you. And here are the end results. Not bad, right? Okay guys, so I hope you found this amateur iPhoneography, smartphone, photography lesson helpful for you. If you did, then please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would really help me out. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.